So without further ado, Max, over to you.
Cool. Thank you, Adrian. Hey, everyone. If you don't mind just dropping in the chat for me, just so I get a sense of where everyone is, where you're from. So I live in Singapore right now, but I'm an Aussie and love to see where everyone is. So Adrian and I, whilst you're doing that, have built many businesses together. One of them is HPC, which is called High Performing Coach. And, we grew like crazy in that business. We achieved like close to $2 million a year in less than 2 years. And we had a few tricks and tools in our toolkit. And one of them is this one now that Adrian and I both invested in. That's how much we believed in it. We still believe in it. And now I'm helping the team to expand into Asia Pacific. So, we couldn't recommend something more wholeheartedly. And it's free to get started because that's how confident we are in the product. We've got a free version and you can level up to paid, whenever you like. So thank you for sharing. Adrian, you manage the people waiting. Okay, cool. Thank you. And let me just jump over to here. So, as a result of the crazy growth that Adrian and I had together, him and I, in case you didn't know, have been in a whole bunch of news articles, Forbes, and then after that, I was in a bunch of others like the Business Times, the Courier Mail in Australia, and a lot of that was because of tools and things that we did, like Scoreapp in High Performing Coach. So now I've taken the mantle of Chief Revenue Officer. So my goal is to help all of our clients generate as much revenue as possible. And I'm going to take you through how we did that hands-on. And Adrian's got a little surprise for you at the end for those who are ready to get into it. So you can all see that, right? You can all see this this deck, and no issues. We'll send you out a copy as long as you move to the next stage, take the next steps. No worries. So I just want to set some context, right? Because a lot of people have different ideas about software and tech and tools that you use to build your business online. So I just want to give you the context of who here has seen a Disney movie. I think everyone has seen a Disney movie, or they still watch Disney movies, right? Now, in any Disney movie, you'll notice that they all follow the same hero journey, right? So in this instance, in Mulan's the hero, and she has a guide, which is that little dragon called Mushu. The Mulan's played by I forgot who, but the Mushu's played by Eddie Murphy, if you remember. And in Aladdin, Aladdin's exactly the same. So Aladdin is the hero, and the genie helps Aladdin to win his journey, right? Helps Aladdin to win, to get to where he needs to go, to fight the battles, to beat the bad guy. So in your business, if you're a lady, you're a Mulan. If you're a gentleman, you are an Aladdin. And I want you to know that all Scoreapp is we're the guide. So if you're a lady, we're Mushu, we're the little dragon. And if you are Aladdin, we're Genie. So we're here to help you win your journey. And just so you know, our internal mantra at Scoreapp is we have taken it upon ourselves to force our clients to be successful because we know how hard it is. We know how hard it is when you're a solopreneur, you're building everything yourself, and you got to learn sales and marketing, and all you want to do is coach and consult, right? And then all of a sudden you got to become a copywriter, you learn emails, you got to learn all the stuff that Adrian can help you with. So we want to make this as easy as possible and let you know that there are guides out there to simplify this as much as possible for you. Does that make sense, everyone? Are you still with me so far? Okay, cool. Thank you. So moving on. If you stay till the end, which I'm sure you will, because both I and Adrian have some goodies for you, I'm going to share with you a link to get a free copy of this book. If you're in certain countries, we can get you a physical copy. If not, you get a PDF immediately. So it's a best-selling book written by Adrian and I's business partner, Daniel Priestley, who's a best-selling author. You'll see him on stages all the time. If you listen to podcasts, he was on the Diary of a CEO podcast earlier this year, which has 10 million followers on YouTube, right? So So definitely a high profile person that has a lot of value to share. And he wrote this book, which it talks about what scorecard marketing is, how it works, and how easy it is for you to implement it. So we'll get you out one of these copies to help get you moving. So I want to share with you a case study, right? So this is the four-step scorecard strategy. I need to change that. It's that we use, Adrian and I, to generate 250K per month, right? And we did that, like I said, in less than 2 years. So let me just start by breaking down the problem. The biggest problem that a coach or consultant. So let me take you through a scenario and let me know if this is you. Put your hand up if this starts to sound like you. You were in a corporate job that was pretty high paying, and then you burnt out, or you had a total awakening, or you realized that you wanted something more, right? Hey, Elena, so I saw that grin straight away. You realized you wanted something more. You went to a few coaching events, maybe you went to a Tony Robbins event, and then you did some training, and then now you're like, I want to do this coaching thing, and I want to work for myself. I want to charge what I want to charge. I want to do calls in my pajamas, right? And because you've moved into this with all of that credibility and all that past experience, it's probably quite easy for you to get referrals, right? And referrals are like magic dust. They come when they come, but relying on referrals is a bit like relying on a self-driving car to drive you. You've got no control, and it could be all fine, but when you're starting your business, you'd rather have your hands on the steering wheel, right? So that's one of the biggest problems that we see in the business, and Scoreapp is designed to help you solve that problem. Another one is not enough quality leads, because typically, if you aren't getting enough sales in your business, I could promise you that the amount of leads that you're getting is even less. So what's a lead? A lead is someone that's put their hand up and express interest, saying, "Hey, William, here's my contact information. I've loved what you've had to say so far, and I'd love for you to stay in contact with me. Here's my name, mobile, email address, and I'd love for you to keep me posted of what you're up to, and I might be ready to buy someday." Right? So the more of those people you have, the bigger your business is. It's really that simple. So not enough leads equals to not enough quality clients. And the solution that we've developed, which is called Scoreapp, has a free version, and then there's stage versions that move up, and then you've got it tops out at about $119 per month, and that's actually going up at some point, probably next year. So just a little heads up for you. But if you do get in, you get to keep it at the lower rate that you've signed in on. So what is Scoreapp?
So sorry, Max, just to confirm,
Yep.
there are much lower prices than that, right, for people to get started.
Yeah, so there's free. There's I think it's $39 a month, and then there's 89, and there's 120, and it's a sliding scale. So you need to upgrade when it's giving you higher results. You know what I mean? So as you upgrade, you're making more money anyway. So it's designed to slide with your performance. So what's Scoreapp? It's an AI-enabled quiz marketing platform, right? And Adrian will take you deeper into this and what it means. If those words sound like a whole load of rubbish to you, don't worry. Adrian will take you in and show you, what it is and how to set it up for you. Now, what it does is that it helps you to attract leads and gain powerful insights and increase sales, right? So if powerful insights, leads, and increasing sales is interesting to you, just listen it, tune up your listening. Now, right now we have about 7,000 paying clients all around the world. That includes coaches, consultants, authors, thought leaders, personal trainers, financial planners, financial advisors, business coaches, life coaches, emotional trauma coaches, branding coaches, anyone that performs a service where your client can sit across you in Zoom and you're a digital entrepreneur, it works really well for you because it's infinitely scalable. And we have some big names that use as well. So like Ali Abdaal, Helen, Christo, Jay Shetty, and Adrian Shield. So we do live events in London, which is where most of the team is. This is an event full of clients. So there's tons of people that you might even know that is already using this. And because we've been in the market for a while, been in the market now for about 5 years. So let me just hand over back to Adrian, because Adrian's got a bit of a history, a story to tell you about how he's used it right at the beginning of his linked coach journey.
Yeah. So I don't know if anyone knows the story of this actually, but I actually, linked coach is something that's been around a while. I know it's probably only come prominent to most of you recently, but I actually, when I was working in HPC with Max, I kind of built this as a side business, a side hustle, and I basically used the score just three things. My LinkedIn profile, banner that you see there, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment, and the scorecard. Okay. And all I did was drive traffic to my LinkedIn profile and send out messages with the link, in conversations I was having with the link to my scorecard. And that's how I originally built Linked Coach and turned it into a 10K or 15K a month business actually in about 3 months from scratch. Just because I'd had the experience doing it for HPC, building it in HPC, and I just decided to do it for Linked Coach. So that's actually how Linked Coach came about back in 2022. And it really is that simple. Like you really can build a business with your LinkedIn profile and the Scoreapp, as long as you have all of the right components, the right marketing in place. And a big part of that is the banner. And as you can see there, all I do is ask a very poignant question to my audience that I know they're they're gonna say yes to, and then I tell them what to do next. So obviously my audience, especially back then, was people struggling with LinkedIn. So of course, anyone struggling with LinkedIn wants to know how they're doing on LinkedIn, and I give them a way of finding that out with my scorecard. And that was the seed for a 10 to 15K per month business out of nowhere.
Amazing. Thank you, Adrian. And so how did we use Scorecard to generate, 6 figures a month? Really simple. So if you want to take a photo of one page, take a photo of this page. It's 4 steps. So there's traffic, what Adrian mentioned. You might want to use Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever your audience is, an email list if you have one. You might want to use a conference, a trade show, whatever. Then you go from traffic to number 2, which is the scorecard. And then the scorecard then has an invitation for them. So they might be invited to an event, invited to book a call, invited to buy a ticket, to pay a deposit for something, an invitation to something. And then step 4 is you then take that invitation, then moves them into a conversion process, and then you convert them to a client. So let me break this down for you a little bit more. A lot of us ask, they get stuck with traffic, and they've got stuck with traffic to the point that we've designed, because our internal mantra is we want to force you to be successful. We've built internal resources to help you generate more traffic. So Adrian can help you with what Adrian can help you with, and Adrian falls into number 4 here, which is direct messages, which is my favorite and the most powerful. And then we've got a whole bunch of others, right? Because more is more in terms of traffic. I'll just talk through these really quickly because they're pretty self-explanatory, and we have a resource to help take you deeper into them. So the first one is podcast guesting. So the thing that I love most about podcast guesting, like showing up on other people's podcasts, whether it's 100 followers, 500 followers, 500,000 followers, right, on that podcast, is the average person that listens to a podcast listens to about an hour a day. So that's 7 hours a week, right? 7 hours of high attention span, focused listening when they are in self-development mode, right? So if you think about the attention span you have when you're watching Netflix compared to when you're listening to a podcast, when you listen to a podcast, it's the same attention span you have when you're reading a book. You're in education mode, you're in self-discovery mode, you're in learning mode, and it's really, really compelling to tell someone about who you are, what you do, and invite them to your scorecard from that purpose of traffic. So I've committed to doing at least two podcasts a week, and since about June, so I've done more than 20 so far, and I worked it out, right? Over the 20 podcasts that I've done, on average, I've gotten at least 1,000 ideal quality listeners that I've spoken about Scoreapp too on that podcast. And if you think about that, that's 20,000 people that has listened to some of the strategies that I'm giving to you here. If you were to be Taylor Swift or Bruno Mars and you were to sell out Madison Square Garden, you would only sell out 19,500 seats. You would sell out less than the amount of people that I've given this pitch to over a 6 month period. And I didn't need to spend any money going on any of those podcasts. So just really think about that. A listen is a listen, a view is a view. But when you have this type of attention span, you're filling up stadiums as you multiply this effort, right? Then you've got community site guesting. So that might be someone who has an adjacent niche to yours. So you might be a nutrition coach, and then you might partner with a personal trainer, and then basically like swap your lists, right? And then you've got long form content, which Adrian would help you with in his course when he helps you to write and post stuff on LinkedIn. I've got direct messages. Before Daniel Priestley founded this business, he famously, not famously, but he recently said that he direct messaged 3,000 people over a period of a few years about this business idea to get information and to learn and to generate leads for the first 1,000 clients to see who'd be interested in it before he put a single dollar into it, right? So everyone does this. It doesn't matter how rich and famous you are. This is the fastest and easiest way to get some traction. Then you've got short form content. Everyone's seen those 10, 15-second videos that you have where you're speaking and there's the subtitles, right? You've got your email lists, and then you've got contests and competitions. So these are things that you don't want to do too often because they're designed to be special, and it's another really powerful source of traffic. So you don't need to take a picture of this, because if you were to join Scoreapp and become a paying client, we call this the lead generation toolkit. There's a resource called the lead generation toolkit where you get all these mini courses on each one of those things that I've mentioned, right? So we don't charge for any of this, but we give it to you because we know that we solve one piece of the puzzle and we want you to have a leg up in the other pieces of the puzzle. We really want to force you to be successful. Then you've got, all you need to do is set up a paid account to access the lead generation toolkit, and then it's all yours. These 7 strategies are all yours with scripts and templates. So the next thing you need to do after you get traffic is you need to set up your scorecard. Adrian can help you with this. We help you with this as well, right? So there's 3 ways you could set up your scorecard. The easiest way is to use the AI wizard. And Adrian will talk to you a bit more about how he can help you to do that. But it used to take about a day and a half to set up your scorecard. And it was a bit like setting up a website from scratch. So, it's not everyone's favorite thing. It's not overly onerous, but it's just one of those, things that you don't really want to have to do too often. Since we've included the AI wizard into Scoreapp, what it does is that it'll take you through a scorecard, ask you a bunch of questions. Who's your niche? Who do you help? How do you help them? What outcome do you want to provide? And then the AI wizard will write out for you a scorecard for you. It'll do 6 to 7 hours of copywriting and write a marketing campaign for you. And it'll do that in a few minutes. So you could go from 0 to totally set up in 30 minutes. And it basically writes draft 1, 2, and 3. And then all you need to do is go in and do your final edits. Outside of that, we have a weekly call called Set Up and Score, hosted by Lee, who's based in the UK. So you get to talk to a real person every single week. We don't have one of those tech companies where you talk to a bot and it's so hard to get a hold of someone. We are very transparent and live and in person for you to speak to a real person whenever you need to, at least once a week. And then the last bit is to just navigate through the system and set it up yourself, which we can help you with. So outside of that, we also have templates. So we know what's working well and what isn't. So we've pretty much covered every niche. I could bet you if you share your niche in the chat, I could point you towards a template, right? Just so you can get some inspiration and see how it might look and really start to map it out in your head. And you can copy and paste these. These are copy and paste templates. Then you go from your setup scorecard to your call to action, which is welcome to this call, welcome to this event. Send me a phone number so I can text you, so I can call you. I'll give you my phone number so you can call me, and then you take them through your discovery process to convert them to a client. Right? So how well does it work? I chose this example because this is particularly relevant, right? This is a gentleman called Daniel Wagner. He provides, wait for it, emotional trauma coaching, right? Like probably one of the most intangible, hardest to market types of products in the world. And once he set up his scorecard and he gave people a way to measure their emotional trauma and to rate themselves so that Daniel could step in and help them. So, hey, look, on a scale of 1 to 10, you've got a 9 out of 10 in terms of how much emotional trauma you might have. How would you like to hear 3 tips for me to help you go from a 9 to a 3 or to a 0 so that you start to release this emotional trauma? And then who doesn't want to hear those 3 tips, right? Then Daniel calls them and then he's into a sales process. Just like that. And he generated 10,000 leads for his emotional trauma healing. That's how well this worked. It's over a little period of time, but, the conversion rate on a lead might be 10%, right? So 10% of 10,000, depending on the price of his products, he's looking at about 1,000 sales. So that's significant. And his business is a big business. 10,000 is actually not a lot for him, but it still wouldn't have happened without him moving through this process. Then we have the very, very typical one that you probably would have seen before, which is the body transformation scorecard. So it's, hey, John, how would you like to find out which body type you are so that you could have a personalized nutrition, carbs, protein, and exercise plan specific to your body type, so you have a really efficient get fit, get a summer body process, right? So instead of it taking you 16 weeks and feel like you're not getting anywhere, you could do it in 8 weeks, right? Based on the science of your specific body. And here's the 3 types, small, medium, large frame. And depending on your frame, I'll help you get to your goals sooner. So that's a really, really common one. And, this coach is just one of many that's using these. Then we've got another really intangible one, which is personal branding. Personal branding is by definition subjective. So how do you rate and measure your personal branding and how good it is and how good it isn't? But once you do, you provide a spotlight that spotlights the gaps in your personal branding, just like how Adrian provides those LinkedIn audits, when he provides the holes in your ship, then you can go to start to fix them and get immediate results, right? So Hannah generated over 800 responses, which had never happened before because personal branding is just so vague and foggy. And that's it. So all I want you to take away from this is, you're a hero on a journey and it never hurts to have a guide. Adrian's one of your guides. We can be another one of your guides to help you win your journey and get to where you want to go. So let me pass it back to Adrian now so he can share a bit more about next steps, and we could go into Q&A.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Max. So what we're going to do, I haven't put it in our calendar yet, but on the first week of January, probably on the Thursday or the Friday, we'll make the decision this week. There will be a follow-up to this workshop where we're actually going to go really deep and show you how to do all this and actually build somebody's scorecard live. So we're going to choose one of our elite clients. We'll make that very fair, of course, and have a random selection process. And we're actually going to do that live and show you guys how you can do this, how you can really simplify this. You know, use the AI or use the templates and create your own very, very effective scorecard. So um, make sure that you look out for the calendar. I will send, I'll send out an email to everyone to let them know when that's going to be exactly, and make sure that you're registered for that. And yeah, one lucky person from our elite um, clients is going to get their scorecard built for them.
And just to share before we go to the next part, I've just shared the link in the chat, scoreapp.com/book. Thank you for staying until the end. If you want to click that and register yourself, we'll get you out a PDF copy, if not a physical copy, depending on where you live, straight away so that you can start getting into this and start learning how it works and going deeper.
And if you don't already have a Scoreapp account, I'm dropping a link in the chat there so that you can create your own account as well. You obviously you're going to need that for the next workshop because you know we want this to be a live session where you can work along with us and actually do the work. So we're going to go to some Q&A right now for 10 to 15 minutes, and then for our VIP and elite members, we're going to go to a deeper Q&A session where you can ask more questions. So let's open up the floor and answer any questions that are out there. Please.
I'll jump in, Adrian, if you don't mind.
Yeah, and then I saw Dee put a hand up as well. So
Oh, go on. Let D go first then. Not a problem.
no, oh, okay. We'll come back to you, James.
Okay.
Thanks for that.
That's fine. My question is, thanks for that, Max. It's really good to kind of hear a bit more about it. What is the most common mistake where people make when setting up their scorecards that stops them from actually generating leads or converting people?
So you're saying the scorecard is set up and they're getting leads in and it's not converting,
Yeah,
or the
yeah,
whole thing's just not working?
yeah. In terms of the actual scorecard and how that comes across when people actually land on it, what are the biggest
Yeah.
mistakes that we should avoid?
Yeah, so particularly for coaches, and this is why that session with Adrian is so valuable, so that Adrian can sanity check your effectiveness. The conversion rate on your scorecard is 80 to 90% the title of the scorecard, right? So the title has to be a clear, tangible, specific outcome. And I'll give you some examples of numbers so that it shows you that it's really worth putting the work in to get this right. A typical lead magnet, so you're talking about taking an audience, giving them an action, so they give you their information. That's called a lead magnet, right? A typical lead magnet, like let's say an ebook or a discount code or an invitation to your event, free invitation, free book call, all that type of stuff, typically converts at about 10 to 15%. When you get your scorecard title right, because it's a more compelling value proposition for them to get a personalized report per person, it's not uncommon to see conversion rates of 20 to 40%. So you're looking at doubling to quadrupling your front end email list building tool. And you don't need to have an email list tool just yet. Scoreapp actually warehouses them for you like a little CRM. So you keep them all in there and revisit them and email them from Scoreapp. So it's that title. You know, is that title clear and tangible? If there's any questions to ask Adrian, it would be asking Adrian, what do you think of my title? How could I make it better? That's how you get your money out of Adrian.
Right, thanks.
Max is really putting a lot on me today, isn't he? And yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with that. Max. That's probably the biggest problem I see, is that the title's not compelling enough. It really has to talk into the problem that people are trying to address and the outcome that they're looking for. And that's what most people miss.
And the other way around, I've seen terrible scorecards that the actual back end provides no value with great titles. And there's just people just flooding into these things. So it really is worth putting in the work and troubleshooting that with someone like Adrian.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, and then Renaud also brought up a good point. The next, like, as you go further down, the next common problem I see. So you can create all sorts of different scorecards. When you're at the top of your funnel, and what I mean by that is when you're collecting leads, people who might not know you, and you're taking them through your process, you want to make it as easy as possible for them to get to what it is they're looking for, right? So the reason why quizzes, scorecards, these kind of things work so well is because we're egocentric animals, and we're primarily think about our problems, our outcomes, like us, our little world, right? And because of that, we're always looking for insights on ourselves or our problems or whatever it is, and it kind of makes it irresistible for people to do that. So if you get the title right, but then you make it really hard for them, and you put in sliding scales, and you put in 50 questions, and you really make them think, and the questions are really hard to answer, you lose people in the process. And that's kind of the next thing. So, if you make it really simple for them, just put in yes, no, maybe questions, keep them to a minimum, the minimum that they need to answer to get a kind of meaningful result, then that's the way to do it. That make sense?
Let's jump back over to James, Adrian.
Yeah, and then we'll come to DC, who asked the question as well. Yeah, James, sorry.
No, don't apologise. No problem if other people got questions. It's mainly, well, both of you. I spent a week and put mine together. I did a lot of work at your suggestion with using Chat GPT rather than just what's in my head, and spent a lot of that time and going through with the support on that was available using the trial version or the free version with Scorecard to optimize mine as best I could because the challenge I have is with high performing people in very pressurized environments, leaders and things. And the challenge there is versus somebody that, for example, like you're talking to coaches. Coaches want to have more business and lots of things that work towards that simple. Mine is a little bit more in here with people thinking, well, hang on a second, I am a good leader already. They don't like to look at it in the negative. So I'd like you to have a look at the thing if you want to, in the next part, if you want me to share it and have a look at that in a few moments. Yeah.
Yeah, we can, when we go to the VIP room, we can do that.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So what I would say is, just to answer that for everyone on this call, there's what the scorecard is designed to do and what pulls people in, and what you and I want to know is, what problem does it help me solve? And problems could either be backward looking or forward looking. So a backward looking problem is, there's a pain that's behind me that I'm trying to move away from, right? So that is how to come out of divorce more powerful and stronger than ever in your 50s, right? That's a painful problem that you're trying to get away from. And then there's forward-looking problems that you're trying to solve, which is how to get to the next level. So if I was speaking to high performers, I'd be more likely towards creating that tangible result around that forward-looking problem, which is you're an executive in your C-suite, find out how to get a board seat in a company 5 times bigger or something, or whatever your specific language is,
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I did do, as opposed to moving away
Mm.
from the pain, it's going towards something. So in a few moments, I'll show it to you.
Yeah.
And that's where, as I said, it wasn't just what's in my head. I used the chat GPT to come up with the ideas. And the people that have seen it so far who aren't my ideal client, some of the coaches and stuff like that, and people in this group have looked at it and gone, oh my gosh, that really looks good. But the proof is not yet in the pudding because I haven't had enough of the target market to see it. I've only marketed it a certain amount because obviously there's lots of other things going on. So I wouldn't mind getting your take on that in a few moments. So thanks very much, Max.
Cool. DC, with DC's here, said which languages and or local markets do you support? I don't know the answer to that. Can you help with that, Max?
Yeah, so we're in, I think, 4 or 6 languages. I know that Spanish is one of them. And we do have support staff that, sorry, my daughter's coughing beneath my desk. And we do have support staff that are native Spanish speakers. So English and Spanish are the strongest, and there's some other you can convert the tool into as well.
Yeah, cool. I don't know if you can unmute yourself, DC, but what language were you looking for specifically? Or just write it in the chat if you can't talk. No. Okay. Julia.
Hi there, and thanks for this. I remember Adrian, when you first did this ages ago, and it was good then, and I think it's gotten better since. Random question, please. What integrations does Scoreapp have with other, let's say, if needed, uh, learning platforms like Kajabi's or communities like Circle, things of that nature? Are there any sort of tie-ins behind the scenes that would
Yeah.
help with that client experience? Just curious, and forgive me if it's clear on the website.
No,
I'll
no, no. It
later.
integrates directly with a lot of CRMs, things like HubSpot and ActiveCampaign. Maybe Max knows more, but a lot of them. But also it has a Zapier integration, so you can pretty much hook it up to anything.
Gotcha. Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Do we have any more? Oh, Hebrew. Does it support Hebrew, Max?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. Well, that's one you should take a note of and take it back to the team then.
Yeah.
So
No
yes,
worries.
DC, not yet. Okay, any more questions? Anything anybody wants to share, ask? No? Going once, going twice. Okay, cool. Then we're going to head over to the VIP room. So guys, I will send out, obviously we'll let you know in the community about the follow-up session where we will go really deep and you're going to get to build one yourselves. And we'll send an email about that as well. So look out for that.
Much more effective with execution. And so this scorecard identifies 4 areas, strategically 2 areas, and operationally 2 areas where they have to be in alignment so that they can reach the highest level of effectiveness when they're executing against strategy.
Okay, understood. And then when they are aligned and they execute the strategy, what nirvana do they reach? What's the outcome?
Well, they find out where the gaps are. So I have, for each of the 4 categories, the 2 strategic and 2 operational, I have 5 questions, and they are to answer their level of agreement on each of the questions, so 20 questions in total. And at the end, they get where the gaps are initially, and then part of the feedback they get is this is what you can do to reduce the size of the gap or to remove the gap to make you more effective. Of course, it's only 20 questions, and that's only going to give them very limited information. And the idea is to go and do a much deeper assessment so I can take them to ultimately the framework
Yeah.
for the business.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. So I would be leaning towards putting this into buckets as well. So as an example, you might want to say something like, uh,
It's further down. It's further down on the page. The buckets are there. Okay, so there's the meter, and then you
yeah,
keep going, and then there's your sign up. And then, and so this is others who have done, and there's your buckets right there. Go
go
back.
up to
There's 4 categories. That's the 4 buckets you're talking about. So,
okay,
right? So those are the 4 buckets. 2 strategic, 2 operational.
okay. And so one quick win I can see here is that the opt-in is too far away from the top.
Oh yeah? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you see that. Adrian, you're on mute. The
Needs to be
opt-in's
above the fold, Teresa.
Okay, so I
yeah,
should put it next to it, how it works. Okay.
yeah, it needs to go to the left of how it works because when it collapses on the mobile phone, the left goes above the right.
Oh, smart. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I would let me because this is a little bit too much engineering as well, and this is really common because we're really good at getting straight into solution mode, right? For all of our clients, like, okay, this is a juicy piece of steak that I just want to chew into, like seeing where all the gaps are and helping you with it. And I get it. But what we want to do is we want to just help them to first self-identify what type of problem they might have, right? And you're doing that a little bit here, but if we just dial that up a little bit more, it'll make a big difference. So an example might be, um, this is my language, so you got to think of your language, but you might just want to say something like, find out if your team is performing like a rock star team or a wet blanket team. That there's two teams, that perform in organizations. And then how you get to rockstar teams, you get strategically aligned. So this is a lot of the how. So the how is the same as here's my personal training program. Guess what? You get to do 600 push-ups, right? So how isn't exciting and how doesn't teach anyone anything, right? What teaches people something is, oh, I didn't realize that I could maybe be not performing like a rock star team. So Rockstar Team sounds great. Tell me what this is about, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
People just yeah. So it's like it's the polarizing. Um, are you what Olympic gold medal are you? Are you gold, silver, or bronze? Right? And is your team performing at A team, B team, C team level? So find out where the holes are to bring to the surface and spotlight, where you're actually operating like a bronze team, but you didn't know it.
Cool. So my 30-second feedback, Teresa, and then we've got to move on to someone else, is simplify it. When I look at the landing page, particularly above the fold, there's a lot going on there, a lot of small text and information. Just use very short, simple headlines, big bold letters and graphics if you can, but keep all of the text and everything to a minimum and just make it really, really simple. Again, so that a 10-year-old child could understand it and tell you what it's all about. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes, thank you.
And a really good way to do that. So my sister used to do this because you learn this in journalism to get that all news articles in journalism are written for 12-year-old childs. She used to actually get me to read it when I was 12, her university papers. So the litmus test is to give it to a niece or nephew and say, can you read this for me? And if they get bored halfway, then you know that it needs a bit of simplification.
And Max actually proved the point there by saying 10-year-old childs instead of 10-year-old children.
Yeah. 10 points, Adrian, for catching that.
All right, so guys, if you want to get yours ready, Micheline, do you have a scorecard as well or not?
I know. I actually just looked at the Score app
Okay.
yesterday.
Tiziana, do you have one? No, I
It's
think you
very
said no.
exciting.
Leonardo, do you have one?
Well, I had it, but then I wasn't getting any results, so I stopped. And in fact, this is very interesting for me to understand why no one was taking it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Carol, I think you have one, right?
I do, and I just
Right.
published it, so I had it in draft mode for a couple of weeks.
All right, so drop yours in
Congratulations.
chat and we'll do yours next, okay? But now we're going to look at Sarah's.
Yep.
You're next up. Okay. So, do you want to reclaim your time, energy, passion? Answer 15 questions. We'll send you a personalized report. Okay. I like this. I like the simplicity. And this, Dragisa, this is what I was kind of alluding to. It's very simple, right? And there's a big bold question here. I'd actually put a question mark there to highlight that it is a question. So
Maybe it's
yeah,
on
this,
purpose.
sort of aesthetically and from the point of view of a 10-year-old child, this is pretty good. Okay. My question though, Sarah, what's your niche? Just tell us a little bit about your niche and how you help them.
Yeah. This one is directly, specifically to nurses.
To what, sorry?
Nurses.
Nurses. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
And
Right.
what problem do they have? Like, have they burnt out? Have they hit a wall? Do they have anxiety? Where are they at?
Yes, to all of that. But the things that they complain about is they need help with time management or they're just overwhelmed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so they're aware they're overwhelmed, but are they aware they're overwhelmed?
That's a great question. Yes. Well, yes, a lot of them are aware that they're overwhelmed. They don't use that word though. They say, I just have too much to do. There's too much. I can't do it all.
Okay. And what does your solution look like? Like, do you help them to be more, because you can't give them more time,
No.
no one
I
can,
get
right?
to the, yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
solution is, what is the real reason that you're overwhelmed and you have too much on your plate is you're a people pleaser.
Okay, perfect. Super clear, right? So
Yeah.
really great catch that you didn't put on here. Find out why you're people pleasing. Because that's 2 layers too deep, right? So you've used the word that they use, which is, gets you 90% closer. I'm just trying to think of, so this is there, but we just got to reframe it a little bit so it's a bit more pointy. So do you want to reclaim your time, energy, and passion? So I would, this is a very painful problem scenario. This is not like James's leadership coaching where it's about getting to the next level. This is all about the pain. So you might want to go more towards something like find out why it's almost, this is the words that I would use. You got to figure out your own words. I would say something like find out why you're slowly starting to hate your job.
Oh.
Can you see that
Yeah.
that line of thinking? See how straight that line of thinking is? Because I bet that they're slowly starting to hate their job. Find out why, because that's the same. That's another way of saying reclaiming your passion. You've obviously lost your passion, which the extreme worst case is you're starting to hate your job. So find out why you're slowly starting to hate your nursing job. And people might even do it just to have a laugh, say, oh, no, I'm not sure if I hate it, but let's find out why other people hate it, right? Let's find out my hate score. And hate's, a terrible word, right? But I'm trying to make a point. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I see I understand where you're going with that though. Yes. It's more personal, personal towards the pain. I think I can do that, yes.
Yeah, and it speaks to like the emotion, you know. So what people can
Yeah.
typically see, write this down, everyone. People are 95% better. I made that number up, but it's about right. People are 95% better at answering what they don't like compared to what
That's
they do like,
true. Oh my
right?
gosh.
So Sarah, if I ask you, what are your top 5 goals for 2025? It'll take you 15 minutes to think about it. But if I ask you, what are 5 things that happened in 2024 you don't want to happen again in 2025? You answer that in 2 minutes.
Yes.
So what you don't want is often clearer for people to grab and say, yes, I don't want this anymore. I don't want to resent my job anymore. Like I don't want to feel exhausted. So, you know, the opposite of energy is exhaustion. You know, the opposite of time is um the opposite. Adrian, what's the opposite of time? Like what's the outcome of a loss of time?
What's the outcome of a loss of time?
Like how would you feel? I'm sort of leaning towards anxiety, but I think there's a better word for that.
Frustration?
Overwhelmed?
Yeah.
Yeah, overwhelm, frustration. But there's a heavier word. There's a word of more weight than overwhelm. But that's a direction, right?
Desperation.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool.
So what are you taking away from that, Sarah?
I love the 95% of people want to answer their problems because it doesn't even matter. Every conversation starts with, so what went well for you today? And well, this didn't go so well. So I totally
Yeah.
get that. And so I'm getting away from this. That is going to be more easy for people to answer, more intriguing, and people like to be validated for their problems. So yes,
Yeah.
I get the whole thing. Yeah, that's what I'm getting away from. I need to reword it to make it a little bit more appealing to the problem and
Yeah.
not the solution here for this one.
How to make the problem stop happening.
Yeah,
Whatever
yeah,
that holy grail
yeah,
problem is. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's
And
great.
and
Thank you.
my 2 pennies, Sarah. Did you or are you a nurse yourself? Did you used to be?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I still have
So
my license. I just don't tell people. They might think I'm a real nurse.
is there a way? I don't know if you still have your nurse's uniform, but I get why you've put this image here because it's a nurse, medical person. It's really clear. But with being a coach, when you're a coach or any type of solopreneur where you're basically the product, it's always a good idea to use yourself in images if you can, because you're trying to build this relationship with people, right? So if you have an image of yourself that can relate to the nursing world somehow, I think I'd favor that rather than this stock image.
Okay. I think I
Cool.
got some scrubs somewhere I can dig out and put back on.
All right. So let's do Carol's. Before I do that, let me has anybody who else has a scorecard that they want looking at? Just put your hand up. No? Oh, cool. Last one then. Let me share again. I think we're on time then. Okay. You want me to do this first, Max, or do you want to jump in? It's Max's day today. I'm going to let Max do the work. Come on, Max. Earn your money.
Yeah, good one. Okay, so how's your life vision? Take this quiz. It's cheaper than glasses. That's cool. Okay, so the first thing is that the where they put their information is too low. That needs to be immediately after that headline. So you just need to move that up because we can't see it. Like
Yeah.
that button, you know, the scroll down, that on the right, that needs to be just underneath the title.
Move it up.
Cool. Yeah, perfect. And then so life vision. So what's your niche? Who do you help and how do you help them?
Uh, Specifically mature women, and especially those that are at a crossroad. The kids are gone, sometimes the husband is gone, the job is iffy, and they're kind of lost. They're at a crossroads.
Okay. And are you exclusive to that audience, like women?
No, no, I'm also working with mature workers but yeah, this doesn't really speak to that other niche. But those that are about to retire, especially in the construction industry, those that are about to retire and just not quite clear on what to do next because this is all they've known. So it's trying to carve out some sort of mentorship program within companies to
Okay, so
coach
that's a
younger
different
workers.
niche.
It's a different
Yeah,
niche.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
cool. Okay, so life, um, look, life vision is okay, but this doesn't, uh, this doesn't narrow down who. Like, I can't read the who
Yeah.
out of the title. So if you wanted to get really laser, I'd be very tempted to have something like uh want like something like want to I don't know what wording it is, but I'm just going to throw something out there because you got to find words that fit more your age, women demographic. But uh, want to um, feel like you're 25 again after your kids are gone. I don't know if that's what they would say, but something to that effect. Can you see?
Probably not.
Yeah, yeah, right. Well,
I'm
fine.
only because I don't want to be 25 again.
Okay. Well, that's really good. That's really good that's a good filter. But whatever that I want to use the word rock star again because I don't have a very big vocabulary. But whatever that
Well, my tagline
superwoman.
is tap
Yeah.
into I help them tap into their inner badass. I help them reclaim their mojo.
Perfect. Badass. Love those words. Badass mojo. So
Okay, good.
throw that on there. So um uh want to get your and you also want to identify it to women, right? So want to um because I can really feel like this women alignment in this and how you're speaking. So it's something like, want to get your I don't know, she badass and she mojo back again after the kids move out. So after the kids move out is a very adjacent way to say you're of a certain age, right? Instead of saying for women 50 plus, like, oh great, thanks for reminding me. But it's like after the kids move out, that's more of an achievement, right? After the kids move out, woohoo, cool.
Love it.
So does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Thank you.
So play with something like that.
Yeah, so allude to the age rather than putting an actual number on it.
Yeah, like to the life milestone.
Right.
Right. Life milestones are very powerful. They help people to get really clear about where you're at. Like the divorce one is super clear. Kids moving out is super clear. Um, quit your corporate job is super clear. Life milestones.
Start the business, whatever. Okay.
Cool. Okay. And again, Carol, I would get an image of yourself in there. rather than stock images. I get, this is kind of, you're trying to portray
Yeah.
vision, but it's this point, it's really important that people see you, that you're very sort of present, so they can start building that subconscious relationship with you.
Yeah,
Awesome.
what's your
Yeah,
most
I was
badass?
thinking of, oh, go ahead.
What's
Go
your most
ahead.
badass photo?
I do have a badass photo actually, and I've got the 4 archetypes. So I was just going to kind of create, I put
Yeah.
that down in my notes. That's what I got from the previous assessment. So thank you for that.
Yeah, perfect.
Cool. I'll just show you, guys. I haven't done any work on mine for so long. I'm actually revamping mine right now because I'm going to start using it again. So let me show you.
Whilst Adrian's bringing that up, can I ask everyone for one favor? So if you're finding this helpful and fun, I'm definitely finding it fun. Do you mind just dropping us a review? 5 stars would be great, but I can't tell you what to do. But if you got the time, drop us a review. That'd be amazing, and it also help us to sharpen, how we deliver this and to do it more. Thank you.
Okay, so I know we're running over a little bit. I'll just be really quick. So this is mine. It's really simple. You can see I've got a dead simple landing page, the LinkedIn health check. You could argue that it's not the best name, but it's pretty clear, right? What going to get? They're going to discover their LinkedIn score. It's just nice and simple and not too much on here. Oh, there you go. Look, there's a picture of Max and I. And then, the further down it goes, it obviously gets, less important. But you can see on the above the fold section, it tells them what they're going to get here. There's just some crappy image. You could argue that there should be an image of me there, but hey, I'm allowed to break the rules. And then the form is right here, and it's like it's really simple. First name, last name, email, check a box, and they get started. Right, so it's really, really simple. I'll just do it quickly and show you what the whole thing looks like. And you can see I'm just using yes, no questions. I'm just going to go through these randomly. Right. This is a market research question. And we'll get into this in the next session, but I recommend putting at least one, but maximum 2 market research questions in there. So this is just asking people, what they're struggling with right now. And then you can see how easy they are, right? To just click through, and you can see that they're pretty short questions. They're not making people think too much, and that's kind of what you want to have. And then a really straightforward results page. So the overall score is low, 17%. The profile score 25, 25, 0 on connections. And then this is actually tailored towards the specific scores as well. If they score low, it's one set of text and guides them to do one thing and so on. And you can see I've got the call to action here is book a LinkedIn profile audit or a LinkedIn audit that they actually pay for. So, and this works really, really well for me as well, having someone pay to do a 1-hour session with me, because it's basically a paid discovery call. And then just some blurb down the bottom there. So you can see it's really simple. They also get sent a report. I think you need a high level to send people reports, but that's not necessary. This is actually enough to just give them, some results on the page here. So this is what I basically initially built Linked Coach with. Really, really simple.
Adrian, would you say a little cheeky, hack is to make it so that no one gets 100% and no one can score 100%, where everyone scores 70 or lower? So it there's a bit of it creates urgency for everyone, no matter where you're at.
You could. That's kind of cheating, but
I just thought of that.
yeah,
I would try that.
that's very max. Yeah, I never tried it, but yes, you could. Yeah, so you're always leaving someone a reason to sort of come back and get more, right? All
Yeah.
right, then quickly, I know we're over, but I love you guys, so let's answer the questions. Micheline, you had a question, or you got your hand up?
Yeah, quick question. So I want to make up my score app, and I want to ask what you think of these titles. So my niche is I'm sort of working between two: rebuilding your life after divorce, or rebuilding your life after a long toxic relationship. So would a title for a scorecard be something like transform your fears into opportunities, rebuild your life after divorce? Or would it be better like rebuild your life after divorce, transform your fears into opportunities? Does that sound?
Well, what you've got to do is think about, okay, what does a score up do, or what does a quiz do? It gives people some insights about themselves or the situation that they're in. So, what insights are people looking for? I'd start thinking down those lines. And don't worry, Michelin, you can the Score App AI builder itself can help you with this. But think about, okay, put yourself in the situation of one of those people. What insight could they be looking for? Like, oh, I feel so, am I ever going to find anyone again, or am I ever going to whatever it is, right? I'm just making this stuff up. But you got to think about what insights are they looking for, what questions are on their mind, and how can you go some way to giving them an insight about that. Does that make sense?
A lot of fear, like what's going to happen to my life now? Like my life has just crumbled. So there's a lot of fear about the future and,
Yeah,
friends and
yeah.
opportunity. Yeah, a lot of fear. So, okay. So put one insight on the app as a title.
Yeah, sort of, you got to like think
Like
about.
building your life, like your life has just crumbled. Is rebuilding your life would be like an insight, but I guess I have to be a little bit more specific.
Yeah, it's almost like, give them some hope, right? Find out where you are on the journey to recovery, for want of a better word, right?
Okay.
There's always a way out after, your life has crumbled in any way, right? There's always a way out. There's always a way forward. And just find out where you are on the journey, or find out, what strategy is best for you, or something like that, right? But it's like what insights how can they feel like when they do this quiz, the results they get are actually valuable insights.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Welcome. And Monica, looks like you just went on a very long journey and made it to wherever you are. So you're on mute, Monica.
Oh, hi. Hi, everyone. Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I'm just getting out of my co-working place. Yeah, hi, Max. It's nice to see you.
Yeah, I thought it was you, Monica, because I saw the M, but I thought it was you. Good to see you.
Uh, Enough position. Okay. So for me, I help women to find solutions with menopause. And so, and like with anything, the hardest thing is to get started. So I haven't got the scorecard. It sounds good. I'm on a kind of forward momentum. It's taken me a long time to get to the stage that I'm at. So I'm interested in using it as a lead gen. So how would I, how would I, what kind of phraseology could I use for them?
What kind of what? Sorry.
What kinds of expressions could I use for them in order to get them started, to get them to do the to fill out this questionnaire,
Yeah.
because
So
my
it's
yeah.
all the same stuff, Monica. So think about, and Max just put something in the chat, how to start the best chapter of your life after menopause, right?
Mm,
It's things like what's on their mind, and what language are they using to express that, even to themselves, or especially to themselves, right? What are they
mm,
thinking? Um, what kind of
yeah.
things
So
are they struggling with internally?
so they think they wish that they were their former selves. And common expression is, I wish I was who I were. It doesn't make sense, but that's what that's what they say. There's a lot of anxiety, stress, um, and the fact that how it affects their identity and job and work prospects. And another hidden thing is that people are not always aware that the symptoms that they're experiencing is actually linked to menopause.
So just to jump in here, Monica, great to see you. Really great to see you. You know, I've heard that a lot of people say, you know, I'm up to a different chapter of my life. So I do think that terminology is, you know, pretty universal, pretty simple, clear. It just people can paint a picture, right? When they hear that line, chapter of my life, different chapter, next chapter, starting a new chapter. So you could use that as a milestone terminology. And if you're helping them after menopause, which I think you are, you know, you don't need to focus on where they were. You could focus because they can't get back to where they were, right? You're not 10 years younger, but how to live the next 10 years amazingly, that's very possible, that's very desirable, that's very compelling.
Okay. All right. So that's good. The chapter is good. I need to kind of put the word so people know that it's directed to them. But yes, I help women through perimenopause, which is 10 years to menopause. Menopause is at the end, basically. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think there's a really fun opportunity to keep this uplifting, right? Because I've also heard, you know, some people when they reach 50, they're like, I'm slowly getting into the coffin. But some people when they reach 50, they say, I've never felt younger, like kids are out, I've got money now, right? And they just totally reframe their life. And I think a lot of this is that, well, that's what coaching is. Coaching is reframing. So if you can help them to get into an exciting reframe, that's essentially what the program does. And it's the outcome that, you know, turns something that they could be a little bit of a victim about, they could be a bit depressed about, they could, you know, get anxious about, but then, you know, why not turn it into something fun, exciting, and aspirational?
Yeah, I hear you. So changing from a victim to a victor.
Yeah, that's a really
Yeah.
cool bucket, victim to victor. So I don't know if that resonates with anyone's niche, but I would write that down.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's nice. So, all right, I'm gonna find ways to stalk you, Max, you know, like for this. And yeah, but it's nice seeing you guys. It's nice having the family back together, even for a short period of time, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, there's a new thing I want to share. Let me just share this in the chat. I forgot about this. So, this book will come out on Audible on Boxing Day, so you can pre-register for it now. Just click that link, or that's Audible UK, but go to whichever account you want. So it's never been available to Audible before, and I'm reading it because I wanted to see what it was like to do that. So I'm the narrator.
Oh,
Yeah.
What's
So
the
if
name
you,
of the book? Because that link is just to
yeah, sorry.
It's called Scorecard Marketing. So Scorecard Marketing. I'll leave this here. Scorecard Marketing on Audible. I'm reading that, and oh, it was painful. It was so painful. I'm a bad reader, like really bad. I hate reading. I've only read like 2 books in my life. It took me like 4 months to read this 360-page book.
it's a good discipline.
So there's a lot of work that went into that. So you know.
Awesome. Cool.
Excellent.
All right. I think that's a wrap. We've been here way too long. So anybody else have anything really urgent? If not, I'll let you all go and go about your days. And maybe we'll see you on Friday at the little Christmas party. And if not, have a great holiday and Christmas and New Year, everybody. And hopefully we'll see you before that. But if not, let's move.
Thank you. This was great. Really
Thanks
appreciate it.
everyone. Cheers.
Take care.
Thank you. Thank
Bye
you.
bye.